Welcome back. So, some pretty big news came out today, late afternoon, yet the market isn't reacting at all to them. So, it's a little strange, But overall, today it was a pretty good day. The US market was in green, AI, crypto for the most part, tech in the green, and that's because we got some good news. Trump and Bissett, they both kind of downplay this whole trade war thing with China. Makes it seem like there will be a resolution sooner than later, and both President Trump and Xi will be meeting this Thursday. So overall, it was a pretty good day. And of course, we got other things coming up this week, like the FOMC meeting. But basically all things are not bad. So if they're not bad, they're good, right? So the U.S. market actually went up. Crypto went up a little bit, just slightly. It was a lot higher this morning, and it kind of slid back down. And it's really strange because we got some good news. What is that good news? Well, it's been reported by multiple sources that unless the SEC comes in last second, we're going to have 3 new ETFs come out. Okay? Canary is coming out with Litecoin and Hedera ETFs tomorrow, and they're going to be on New York Nasdaq, and New York Stock Exchange is listing Bitwise's Sol ETF. Not only is it a Sol ETF, it's actually a staking Sol ETF, which means it's going to provide holders like a 4 to 5% dividend every year based on the staking rewards, right? And then supposedly after tomorrow, then Grayscale's Sol Trust will get converted to ETF. So unless, again, both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ is ready to do this. Unless the SEC comes out last minute, the $11 said, no, we're not going to do it. Basically, they met all the requirements. And this is basically what the SEC has told the American exchanges. Like, as long as they meet all the requirements, go ahead and list them. You don't even need us to say yes or no. And they're basically saying, okay, we're going to do it. So this is extremely bullish. We want this to happen. We want more ETFs so that we can get institutional money to flow in. And Solana is definitely one of the leaders when it comes to inflows, right? The strange thing is when this came out, I think people are still kind of digesting whether this is real or not or just rumor. But multiple sources have said this is real, from Bloomberg and others. Even the White House. But it's weird that we're not seeing Sol is not skyrocketing, Litecoin is not skyrocketing, Hedera is not skyrocketing. And we know there are other pending ETFs for other chains too, and more for these as well. So it's really strange that they're not moving. But it could change tonight when Asia wakes up. Maybe things change. Or maybe tomorrow when Wall Street wakes up, then we start seeing it. For Bitcoin, obviously the ETFs have made a big difference. With all the inflows, it made a huge positive impact on Bitcoin's price. Ethereum, you could also argue the same thing, especially when it was really hot and there was tons of inflow into BlackRock. It definitely made an impact with Ethereum. Now it's kind of like iffy because you do see a lot of outflows, but companies like BitMine continues to load up. So with Sol, it'll be interesting. Sol, I think, is the next big chain for institutional adoption. The fundamentals are great, and I think this will be interesting. The only caveat, the asterisk to this, is the conversion, the Grayscale Trust conversion into an ETF. When this happened with Bitcoin and ETH, there were a lot of outflows because investors up until this point could not sell. They can't sell. The trust is made so you can only buy in, but you can't sell. So when it converts to an ETF, they can sell. So that's why for the longest time after Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF, the Grayscale Trust, the Grayscale ETFs had massive outflows every single day. That's the only caveat to this, and I hope it doesn't disrupt Solana's momentum back upwards. I'm really hoping that's not the case. But overall, like I said, I believe this week is going to be green, and we started out green so far. Let's see if it continues. We have a lot of bullish things coming up, right? I think the FOMC meeting is going to be good. We have a lot of earnings, tech earnings this week, although Amazon just reported they're firing 50,000 workers, the biggest layoff they ever had in their history. So that may be scaring some people, but we still have the other big ones reporting. Coinbase is reporting, and we'll see. Coinbase is it did well today. It was doing really well, and it kind of came down. So I'm wondering how Coinbase is going to do with the last quarter, right? We did have a little bit of excitement with the ETH, so I don't know if that really helped them or not. But overall, I'm hopeful for this week. I don't quite understand, again, why, with such bullish news with the ETFs, why we're not seeing more momentum. I think we should. So, a little bit of a mystery there. Outside of that, that's it. I mean, there's really not much else. There's a new CFTC chair appointee, but we don't know how the CFTC is going to be going forward. It seems like most of the power is still being retained at the SEC, and there's talks about the two combining. I don't know. The Clarity Bill is still being voted upon, and Clarity Bill really sets the tone on like what the CFTC handles versus the SEC, and that is still being worked at. And of course, the government shutdown is still pending. You got a whole lot of stuff. But anyways, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, for the rest of you guys, I'll see you guys either tonight on the I Am George channel, or I'll see you tomorrow 8:30 usual, as always, right? That's it. I'm gonna keep this nice and short. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this video doesn't keep blinking out. I don't know why it does. It's normal on my phone, so hopefully it's normal. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.